How are you feeling today? Do you feel fulfilled in life? The show will begin in 4 minutes. Are you ready? When was the last time you felt betrayed? When was the last time you felt loved? The show will begin in 3 minutes. Are you ready? What did it feel like to be in love? What is the most painful part of being in love? The show will begin in 2 minutes. Are you ready? Are you ready to be transformed? Are you ready to make a change? The show will begin in 1 minute. I hope you're ready. The show will begin in exactly 30 seconds. Get ready. This is how you use your feminine energy to speak a man's language. But please, for me, don't tell other men that we're having this conversation, because the amount of power and influence I'm going to give you over them, they won't like it. Also, I want you to acknowledge the fact that in this video, I'm going to be covering everything about how to react, respond, and how to speak to men and communicate your feelings in the most intense and unforgettable way. And by the end of this video, you'll still be able to be in your divine feminine energy, centered as you could possibly be, and do what you're meant to do best, which is just receiving. Welcome to the Players Club. If you're paying attention to me and everyone else in the live stream, please stay here present so that I know you're here present and actively participating. How are all you beautiful people doing here today? It's a good day today. I'm feeling loose today. I'm feeling real loose today. My apologies for being late. Someone said, we've been waiting since forever. I know you've been waiting for so long. This is so embarrassing for me. No, I know you guys have been waiting. You guys have to understand, when I come on the show, I'm not like your willy-nilly content creator slapping stuff together, sitting in front of a computer screen, reacting to random videos. I'm in the field. But I'm also preparing notes for you guys, making sure that those notes make sense. I'm making sure that there's real experience and example in the things that I present, because I don't like any of you walking away from any of our shows, topics, or conversations and being like, I don't really feel like I got something from that, right? And I love when women who are really smart and intelligent in their dating life already, they come in and they click a video and they say, hey, I came into this video thinking I would know absolutely everything you were going to say, but I left with at least one nugget that changed me, or I wasn't expecting, that set a light bulb off in my head. And now I'm realizing, that's maybe something I need to focus on, work on, or adjust. Okay. And I love that. So I try to be very detailed in the way that I go over everything and really think about the bigger picture. So don't mind me sometimes, chat, if I'm late or a lot a bit late. I really do want to come with the best possible product for you guys. I don't just want to show up at 3 or show up on time, and then when I show up, like, notes aren't written right. It looks like I haven't really thought about what I'm saying. I'm fumbling and stumbling, and then you're just like, wait, what's the point of you coming on time? It's the information's not really there, right? I try to be better than your average creator. Okay, chat. Welcome all of you. I see we got Class up in the chat. We got Clarice up in here. We got Miss Chief here. We got Valentina is here. Mojo is here. Smash Master. That's an interesting name. Smash Master. I like that. Zara is here. She's one of the staples. Welcome all of you beautiful, beautiful people. Let's get started on today's show. We're going to hop right into our first point. Okay. So to start off, we're going to discuss an analogy. Now, this analogy is going to encompass what we're going to discuss today, so please stay with me. Even though it isn't exactly about relationships, I'm going to go somewhere very special with you. Let's say, for the sake of example, this is a me, okay? Yeah, this figure here that looks very, very concerned. And today, me and you are together. At least you met me for the first time today in person. And I'm pointing to my stomach. I have this weird, uncomfortable face on me. I'm like, and I'm pointing to my stomach like really profusely, right? Really like hectically. Oh my God, my stomach, So you're seeing me point to my stomach and you're wondering to yourself, I'm confused. What's going on? Are you okay? Like, sir, please, do you need help? And I just keep pointing to my stomach. And then when I go to communicate to you something, I say, and you're like, what? I don't understand what you're saying. Let's imagine for a second that language that you can't understand is Swahili. Now, I don't know how to speak Swahili, so I'm obviously riffing, but let's just imagine that that's Swahili. It would sound all the same to you because you wouldn't be able to understand a word of what I'm saying. But I'm pointing to my stomach profusely, and I just keep showing you my stomach and rubbing it and looking very uncomfortable. But you're sitting there like, I really don't understand what your issue is. You keep rubbing your stomach. Yeah, you look uncomfortable, but I don't know what I'm supposed to do for you. So you can't understand me. because you can't understand what's going on with me, you can't understand that I'm having this profuse stomach pain and that I'm trying to tell you I want to go to the hospital in Swahili, you can't help me. Not because you don't want to help me, not because you're not a nice person, not because you don't care about my well-being, simply because you can't understand me. So this is very interesting. Now I'm in pain, and as I'm trying to get you to help me, and I'm in pain, and I'm trying to get you to solve my problem, simply because you can't understand what I'm saying out of my mouth because we're speaking two different languages, I now feel like, well, you don't want to help me. You're a bad person. I don't like you. Because if you were a good person, if you loved me, if you cared about me, you would help me in this situation. You would solve my problems. You would take care of me. But all it is a simple language barrier. And if I were able to speak English, just like you speak English, I would easily communicate to you, I'm having extreme stomach pain. This is horrible. I've never felt pain like this in my life. Can you take me to the hospital? And you'd be like, sure, perfect. I'll take you to the hospital. I can understand you, so I can help you. And then hopefully you'll no longer be in pain. Why do I give this analogy? Because for you in your relationships, I don't want you to listen to this video. And when you click on it, the first thing you say is, this stupid YouTuber's at it again. I hate this YouTuber. Misogynist. All he thinks about is what men want. He doesn't think about what women want. Where are the videos talking to men about how to speak a woman's language? I want to see that video. Why are we always telling women how to do for men? This video is not about how you do for men. I want you to understand, just like in the analogy that I gave you, what's really happening here is you're doing something for yourself. Because when you understand how to speak a man's language, right? In this scenario, you are the stomach pain person and the man is over here. When you understand how to speak a man's language, you're doing something for yourself because you're making it easy for you to receive what you need from a man. Do you get what I'm saying? In your feminine energy, you're supposed to be receiving from men. Men can only give you what you want if they understand what you need. So the better you get at speaking a man's language, the easier it is for you to receive from men. As you receive more from men, easier, you are able to step deeper and deeper into your feminine energy, which is meant for you to be receiving. Are we on the same page? Okay? I know that analogy was kind of out there, but I hope that we are all getting what we're supposed to be saying, okay? Someone says, we're on the complaining lady routine. I see all the comments. Even though I don't respond to every comment chat, I see everything. So I like to address those things because I know some people come into the videos with preconceived notions based on the title or based on what they think the video will be about. So I always like to dispel those before we get started, okay? So let's hop into our second point, which we're gonna discuss the response, okay? So I want you to understand this very, very tricky way that men will go about their interactions with you. And I have to be honest with you, even though it's going to sound counterintuitive because it's coming from a man, I want this to really hit home for you. Men don't actually understand what they want. I'm going to say it again. Men do not actually understand what they want. Now, I know it sounds weird because I'm a man and I'm telling you what men want, but I mean it in this sense. If you ask a man who you are actually in a relationship with or trying to build one with, what he wants from you, he is most likely going to steer you in the direction to become more masculine in the relationship. What do I mean by that? If you ask a guy, hey, what would you ideally want me to be doing for you or in this relationship that would make you the most happy? He's going to say things like, well, I want you to text me 24/7. I want you to tell me exactly how you feel about me. Like, don't hide the fact that you like me. Don't hide the fact you're growing feelings for me. I would love for you to call me all the time. I would love for you to tell me when you're free, even take it a step further than telling me when you're free, telling me that you want to hang out with me. I would love for you to invite yourself over. I would love for you to be super chill, super relaxed, never have any expectations, never have any standards, and always tell me how much you want to be with me and how amazing I am. All of that is actually putting you in a very masculine position. What does it allow him to do? It allows him to relax. He gets to receive now. He gets to be in his divine feminine energy, as weird as that sounds, right? Because feminine energy is receiving. He's now receiving from you. Of course, that's what he would advise you to do, because that's a very relaxing, easy place to be in, where someone is giving to you, someone is taking action for you, someone is doing on your behalf, and he no longer has to be in the hunt. So he's relaxing now, and he's also less invested. Of course, if you ask the guy that you want to be with or that you're in a relationship with, which one of these options would be better for you to do, he's going to choose the one that allows him to relax and be less invested. So this is why I say men don't actually understand what they want, because they don't understand what they naturally respond to. Because when you ask a guy what he wants, you're not just asking him, what do you want in relation to what will create the most relaxation within you and keep you the least invested? You're asking him, what do you want in relation to what do I also want from you? So let's talk about this other side here, in the sense of you being in your feminine when you're asking him, what do you actually want? And you give him what he actually wants, because what he actually wants is to be able to pursue you, to be able to appreciate you, to be able to desire you. When you're in your feminine energy, meaning you're not doing things like calling him 24/7, texting him 24/7, telling him about how much you love him, confessing your love and your feelings and how you've been so in love with him since the day that you met him. You're not worshiping him like he's a god. Now, all of a sudden, you're in your feminine energy. He is the one that is inspired to take more action because of all the things that you're doing to keep yourself in your feminine energy, not listening to him. And now all of a sudden, he's more invested in the relationship. He's more invested in the success of the relationship. He's now taking action for you. He's in his masculine energy, which also makes him feel better about himself as a man. And you get to stay in your feminine energy, which makes you feel better about yourself as a woman. This is why I say men don't understand what they actually want, right? But they do respond to only certain things in particular ways. So you have to focus more on what do men respond to versus what do men ask me for, okay? Let's hop into our next point. Okay, so we're going to discuss language here. Now, I want to give you 4 forces that are really going to be the crux of everything that we're going to use to build what we can describe as your dictionary. The reason I'm going to call it a dictionary is because if we're going to get you to speak a man's language, we need to help you understand all the words in that language so that you can combine those words into sentences that will communicate whatever feeling, emotion, response, whatever it is that you want him to feel, understand, receive, and then act on, okay? So we're building your dictionary with these 4 components. We have your words, we have your actions or his actions, and we have your body language, and we have investment. Now I'm gonna hop into all 4 of these, so don't worry, we're gonna discuss these in detail, but I just want you to understand what we're trying to do here. In all of these, right, some are going to be used to communicate feelings or thoughts or emotions that are positive in nature. Some of these are going to be used to communicate thoughts, emotions, or feelings that some would consider negative in nature. Because just like sometimes you're going to want to communicate to a guy, I really like you, I really appreciate you, sometimes you're also going to want to communicate to a guy, I really dislike you, or I don't appreciate what you just did. Okay? Are we on the same page? Let's hop into our next point. Someone said, don't overwhelm the poor dude. Don't overwhelm me? No, I'm not overwhelmed. No, I'm happy. I'm happy, Chad. All right, let's hop into our next point. Investment, okay? So we're gonna describe investment as our very first one that we're gonna get into, because I think that this personally is the most important point that we'll discuss. Let me tell you why. You might have the virus of an idea that in order for you to be more desirable to a man, you're gonna have to show him things that make you more desirable in his eyes. In order to show him things that make you more desirable, you're gonna have to start doing more for him. So you're going to have to put lots and lots of energy into him as you're taking action and doing for him. You're going to invest in him emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And in the process of you doing all of that investing, you're going to prove to him that you are a desirable woman because you feel like, well, men want women who will do things for them. If I can prove to him that I'm the woman that's going to do the most for him, then I will subsequently be the most desirable woman I can possibly be to him. Wrong. Wrong, 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 absolutely wrong. In fact, it's the exact opposite. I want you to think about this here, okay? How many times have you ever had a guy come up to you and say to you, oh my gosh, you are such an amazing servant. Oh my gosh, I can't believe how amazing you scrub the floor. Oh my God, I can't believe how awesome you wash the dishes. Watching you wash the dishes just tells me how amazing you are. The way you fold my underwear, the way you do my laundry is just out of this world. I can't believe it. Versus, how many times do you have a guy come up to you and say, you're beautiful. Your smile is amazing. Oh my God, you have beautiful eyes. Your skin is glowing. You're glowing. Oh my God, your body is so tight. Oh my God, you're so sexy. Oh my God, it's so much fun spending time with you. You're such a vibe. It's so easy to hang out with you. I feel so good whenever I'm around you. What does that mean when guys are complimenting you that way? Really think about it. They're saying, I like the way that you invest in yourself. I love the way you invest in yourself, and I recognize the way that you invest in yourself, i.e. the way that your skin looks. It's glowing because you're clearly doing something for yourself. The way that your body is super tight. It looks tight because you invest in yourself. The way your ass is extra fat. It's extra fat because you eat your oats or because you go into the gym. Either way, you invest in yourself. Notice all the times that guys are complimenting you, that guys are going out of their way to mention how amazing you are, they're talking about how you invest in yourself. So if we think about what it means to really be desirable and to speak the language of desire to a man, you do not communicate desire to a man by showing him how you can invest in him. You communicate desire to a man, or the fact that you're desirable to a man, by showing him how well you invest in yourself. Okay? Now that we've gotten that out the way, let's hop into our next point. Okay? So we're going to use or get a real world example. Okay? This is going to be our real world example. We're going to have bubbles versus begging. So let's say, for the sake of example, in this scenario, you were taking a bubble bath today. You decided to have a spa day where you just take care of your skin, your hair, your nails. You wanted to put the phone away, relax, take some stress off. You didn't want to be chit-chatting with random people that are going to stress you out. It's just a you time. Now, in the process of this, right, let's say he sent you a message and you didn't answer the message because obviously you were having a spa day in your bubble bath. You like my little bubble bath bowl here? Okay. You were taking your bubble bath. After a couple of hours, you get back on your phone and he's like, hey, I noticed that you hadn't messaged me back. I tried to call you. What's up? What are you doing? And you send him, let's say, a picture of you in the bubble bath. Okay. It doesn't have to be inappropriate. Just a nice little picture of you with the suds all over you or on your legs, something along those lines. And he says, oh my God, you look beautiful. Your skin's glowing. Oh my God, how can you look so naturally, just sexy, just amazing, just gorgeous? You're a goddess. Okay. Notice how he's reacting to you in the period in which you're taking time to invest in yourself. Because a lot of men won't say, oh, you took this time to invest in yourself. I'm angry at you. I'm upset at the fact that you're taking time to invest in yourself. A lot of times men just recognize, oh, I appreciate that. Oh my God, look at the result of you investing in yourself. Men are always capable of recognizing the result of you investing in you. Vice versa, let's use this example where you're desperate to come over to his place and cook for him. You're saying, please, 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 I want to come to your place and I want to cook you my best meal because I want to show you how amazing of a chef I am. I want to show you that I can be a wife. Can we do it this Thursday? Can we do it on Wednesday? Can we do it tomorrow? I'll come over tonight like DoorDash. I don't care. Let me come over. And he's like, oh, honestly, you know, I got a lot of stuff to do. I got a schedule of things. list. I don't know. I have work. I'll let you know later on in the week if I have. Please, can I come? I'll let you know. I don't know. I don't know, right? And so you see how, even though that sounds like a little bit of an extreme example, if your mindset is focused on, okay, I need to invest in him. I need to show him how much investment I can put into him in order to communicate that I'm so desirable, you will actually communicate the opposite of desirability. You will communicate repulsiveness, if that's even how you would say that, right? And you will communicate the wrong things. So I'm using this as a perfect first world example so that you can understand desirability is about how you invest in yourself and even show men that I love investing in myself, okay? I see Charlotte in the Twitch chat. Welcome, Charlotte. I believe you were here last time too. So welcome, Miss Charlotte, in our Twitch chat. I see you there. Okay, right? All right, let's hop into our next point, which we're gonna discuss words. Now, this is very interesting. Words are very powerful, but also you wanna make sure that when you try to communicate something, you're doing it with a purpose. You don't just wanna aimlessly yap with guys. Let me tell you why. So you might have become accustomed to having this routine here, where you use your words to beg a man or ask him, I want you to take this particular action. I need you to take this particular action. You have to take this particular action. And in the process of you begging him to take that particular action with your words, you're hoping that he ends up actually taking that action. When he takes that action, then you're able to be happy after you have used your words to beg him. Let me tell you why this is so wrong, and I want to undo all of that thinking, because I want you to use your words properly to communicate with men in the language that they actually understand. Rather than using your words to beg and ask a man what you need him to do for you, I want you to begin telling men what your desires are. Okay, I'm going to pause for a second why I want you to do this way instead. Understand the dynamic that you're supposed to be building here. You, as a woman in your feminine energy, right, are like frolicking in the daisies. Him in his masculine energy is supposed to be pursuing after you. We call it chasing, we could call it pursuing, but there's a healthy level of pursuit that a healthy masculine man has for a woman who he desires. We have the saying, happy wife, happy life, for a reason, because men have a natural understanding and instinct that my woman needs to be happy in order for me to be happy. Her desires are at the top of my priority list if I desire that woman. So what we want to do here, because of that established dynamic, is we want to take that dynamic and we want to use it, work with it, so that we don't have to have you begging for things. We can have you receiving things through the aspect of what you desire. Because if that man desires you, then subsequently, he wants to take action on the things that you desire. So instead, you're going to use your words to communicate what you desire. And because he has a desire to make you happy, because he loves you, he cares about you, he wants to be with you, he then takes action, right, on your desires. And then you end up happy, not because you beg him for what you need or what you want him to do, but because in your communication of your desires, he says, I want to do those things in order to make her happy or satisfied. Okay? Now, I know some of you are like, how do I do this in a real life example? I don't know, Thompson, it's too hard, it's abstract. Okay, I got you. Don't worry. We're gonna hop right into our next point, which is gonna be a real world example, okay? So, we're gonna discuss a real world example of how to put words and desires into action that communicate to men exactly what you need. So let's say, in this example, there's a particular restaurant you wanna go to. This particular restaurant is Nobu. I'm sure a lot of you know that Japanese restaurant. If you like sushi, you should know this one, okay? So Nobu is the restaurant that you have never been to and you would love to go to. You would specifically love a date there at some point. So you communicate the overall desire to go to Nobu. Now, let me be very specific here because a lot of you will hear this and you'll think, okay, so I'm supposed to communicate at this time that I want him to take me out to Nobu. Okay, man, please, not please, I need you to take me to Nobu. You man, take me woman, Nobu now. I want it now, do it now. This is wrong, right? I don't want you to communicate your desires from the standpoint of what you want or need him to do. I want you to communicate your desires from the standpoint of what you would appreciate, what you would love, or what you would enjoy from an outside third person perspective. Not that you need him to take you there, not that he's the one that has to take you there. Overall, that's the thing that you desire. So in this scenario, it would be saying, I love Nobu. I've never been able to actually go. Every time I planned it, every time I say with my friends we're gonna go, we never end up going, but it just looks so beautiful. I would love to go to a special event there or just do something there. But I feel like if I go there, it's gotta be special. You can't just go on a random day, but it just looks amazing. I seen they had a Michelin star. Oh, it's awesome. And you keep reiterating, this is my desire. I desire this place. I want to go to Nobu. I want to explore it. I think it looks cool. I think it looks awesome. It would be such a fun experience. As you communicate those desires, eventually your birthday comes up. And now that your birthday is coming up, your man is thinking, how do I make her birthday very special? He's thinking back to the things that you've communicated that you desire. And now he says, I've got a bright idea. My bright idea is to take my woman to Nobu, make a super duper special Nobu date. I'll even make it a surprise because I already know how much she'll love Nobu because she talks about it all the time. Now he gets to feel like a masculine, manly man by thinking through this decision and making a choice for the both of you that says, I know how to have a happy wife and a happy life. I take my woman to Nobu for her birthday. That's how to have a happy wife and a happy life. Then when he gets to make the decision, he takes you to Nobu, you're happy because you didn't have to beg him in order to receive that, but also he's happy because he feels like he's in his masculine energy, giving to you and taking action for you because of his desire for you. Are we all on the same page, right? Someone says, I love going to mom and pop restaurants. Those places are always the best. I do agree with that. Sometimes you can find a really amazing gem just in the middle of nowhere. It's all about your ability to find them. Okay, let's hop into our next point here. Okay. Alrighty. So for our next point, we're going to discuss action. Okay. So this one is, I want you to really be paying attention to what I'm saying because I want you to take this the right way. As a woman, if you have a void within you, okay? You could have a void in different aspects, emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually. And you have not spent the time by yourself to just work on this void and fill this part of your life, your spirit, your energy, your mind, your soul up so that it's no longer such a deep void. It could come from trauma, it could come from experiences, it could come from anywhere. If you don't work on yourself to fill this void, and you're hoping that a man comes into your life to fill this void, you'll be doing this completely wrong, okay? Because what you'll be doing is you'll be desperate for a man to take a particular action towards you. In your desperation, you will constantly feel like, if you don't give me this, if you don't do this for me, I'm going to pass away. Obviously, you might not necessarily pass away, but you will feel like it's life and death. Because if you haven't worked on this void and you've been waiting for a man to come and fill this void for so long, the first man that steps into your life, you will literally be hoping and praying every single day from the very first time of meeting him that he's capable of filling that void, okay? Now, why is this important? And how does this help for you to speak a man's language? You need to understand when it comes to action, men need space to take action. I'm going to say it again. Men in your life need space to take action. They can be masculine men, but you have to be a little bit patient in allowing them to be able to do that. Some men are a little slower than others. Some men are go-getters. They're going to do it before you can even ask for it. Some men need a little bit more massaging before they get into the habit of taking action for you and in the relationship. Remember, taking action as a man, it's kind of like working on your muscles. When you go to the gym and you're working on your muscles, you get better at lifting, you be able to understand how your body moves better, and you get good at it. It's the same thing with taking action as a man. Some men want to take action, they just don't have enough experience doing it. that it takes them a little bit. But if you have this massive void within you, you're so desperate for him to take action right now that you can't give him the space to be masculine, and then you subsequently don't have the space to be feminine because you're never going to receive when you're begging and desperate for it right now. So let's discuss a real world example so we can be on the same page. Now, in our real world example, we're going to talk about money. Now, you guys love money. Specifically, we're going to discuss a job. So in this example, let's say you have no money, literally $0 in your bank account. You can't even pay your bills. I was going to say you can barely pay your bills. You can't even pay your bills, okay? In this scenario, you meet a guy who seems to have a little bit of money, and immediately, what are you? You're desperate. You're desperate for this man and to be with this man, and you're desperate for him to want to take action to pay your bills. Why? Because you can't even pay your own bills. This is where I say understanding how to give men space to take action is going to be one of the most important parts of being able to communicate with them. If you want to receive from men and they don't have the space to actually give to you because of how desperate you are for them to take action right now, you will never ever receive anything from men. Because that desperation is always going to push them back and push them away. And even if they do give to you, it will be out of pity for you and out of your desperate situation rather than what it should be out of, which is their desire for you. Like I just talked about earlier, men are supposed to be using their desire for you and to be with you to act on things and take action on things because they want to make you happy, not because you have this massive void and you can't pay your own bills. So let's look at the opposite sense when you actually do the work of taking action for yourself even and going out and finding yourself a well-paying job. Doesn't have to make you a millionaire, but something that allows you to go out with your friends, enjoy your life, and most importantly, pay your bills. Now, all of a sudden, when you meet men, you're not stuck on the idea that, hey, I need a provider man and I need you to be a provider man yesterday. I need you to come on the first date and start talking about which bill you're going to pay for me next, right? All of a sudden, you don't care because whether or not he pays your bills, it doesn't affect your ability to be happy with your own life. You don't have this massive void within you that's forcing you to be desperate for a man to take action with you. Now, all of a sudden, this is magical. I'm telling you, this is how life works. This is how the universe works. All of a sudden, when you stop caring about this man has to be a provider man and pay my bills yesterday, all of a sudden, the men come out of the woodworks and they're ready to give to you. Because your focus is not on, I need you to fill this void. You've already filled that void for yourself. Of course, a man can come and he can add to your life, but that's if he wants to take action and add to your life. Do you see how now you're able to interact with men in the way that you should be interacting with them, talk his language, but also receive how you should be receiving? Okay? Does that make sense? Someone said it smells like a 7. What do you mean by that? Let's hop into our next point. Someone says, I think Tommy listens to Narrow. You're talking about Narrow Knowledge? I have a sneaky suspicion some people that watch me watch Narrow Knowledge because I seen someone post that about me. Narrow Knowledge and the Diary of a CEO is their favorite YouTuber. So that's very interesting. I do know of Narrow Knowledge, though, for sure. Maybe we'll collab one day. So next we're going to discuss body language, all right? I want to ask you all a very interesting question. Does anyone remember what my first 3 sentences were in this video? Anyone? Don't rewind it, okay? Tell me right now in the chat. Don't rewind it. Don't say nothing. Tell me right now in the chat, what were my first 3 sentences in this video? I already know none of you remember that, okay? None of you remember that. And I don't expect any of you to remember that. Why? Because it's very hard for people to remember what you said. But let me also ask you, how did my introduction make you feel? When I talked about speaking a man's language in order to receive from them, being able to be in your feminine energy around them, right? Being able to communicate to men so you never have misunderstandings with them. Do you remember the feeling that gave you? It must have gave you a pretty good feeling because you're here now listening to this video still. So what I mean by that is people will rarely ever remember what you said. It's very hard. People say a lot of things, they yap all the time. People will always remember how you made them feel. Why do I bring this up as it relates to body language? Because when it comes to body language, the way that you can communicate the most intense feelings and emotions is through your body language. Despite the fact you might think your words would be the best way to communicate that, they're not. And I'm gonna show you a perfect example of why that is the case, okay? So, we're gonna discuss a date versus a diss, okay? So, let's say on this date, he comes to you and he says, look, you're amazing. I love you. You're awesome. So I want to do something special for you. I'm going to surprise you. I want you to get dressed. We're going to a nice place. I'm not going to tell you where it is. Not going to tell you how far. I'm not going to tell you what cuisine. We're just going to go. It's going to be amazing. You're going to enjoy it. It's going to be awesome. Okay? So you're excited. You get dressed. And on this date, you use your body language. Of course, you say thank you and you appreciate him, but you also emphasize with your body language, right? You're on his arm throughout this date. You're not on your phone. You're like, you know what? This time is for me and you. I thoroughly appreciate what you just did for me. I want to show you that through my attention, by paying attention to you and making you feel special on this date. And things are so subtle sometimes. Have you ever been talking to someone on a date and as you're talking to them, they're like looking behind you? They're looking at what the waiter is doing. They're looking at what this person is doing. Maybe someone behind you is actually doing something crazy. But also think back to yourself, how did that make you feel when that person was doing that? When you were talking about something important to you, or you were talking about your life, or you were telling them a story of you or who you are, introducing yourself, and they were looking behind you, even though they didn't intend to make you feel not special or make you feel small, how did that make you feel? Probably not very special. Right? So the reason I say that is that's how powerful body language communication can be. That's how subtle it is sometimes, but how intense it can be in the way that it makes you feel inside, right? Your soft gaze I added in here just as another element of how you interact with someone with your body language when you really want to make that man feel special, right? Vice versa. Let's say he dissed you. Let's say for the sake of example, this diss came because he went out to a club with you, let's say for the sake of example, and at this club, he was flirting with a girl in front of you, okay? Someone came up to him, he was chit-chatting with her, laughing with her, smiling way too much. So let's say for the sake of example, because you're upset and you want to communicate with your body language that you're upset, when you guys get back into the car to go home, you are dead silent. Like dead silent. Like not even one word. Like when he asks you what's wrong, you ignore him. When he asks you, are you okay? You ignore him. When he asks you, are you going to speak? You ignore him. When he asks you, do you want food? You ignore him. This entire car ride is silent, even if he plays no music, up until he drives up to the driveway. And when he drives up to the driveway and he's expecting you to say something to him, finally, you walk out of the car. Complete silence, okay? No explanation. That car ride is very uneasy. But remember what I said. People don't remember what you say. They remember how you made them feel. So when he flirted with that girl right in front of you, and you took that opportunity to say, I can either crash out right now, or I can get into the car and start yapping about how it made me feel, how I'm upset about this, how I'm upset about that. Or I could communicate my feelings in the most intense way that I know he will understand because I'm speaking his language as a man. And I can go silent. And I can just allow him to feel uneasy in this car. I can allow his mind to go a million different places and replay the entire night, ask himself, why is she reacting and responding the way that she is? Why is her body language cold? Why is she not talking to me? Why is she not making eye contact with me anymore? Imagine how much of a contrast this is to experiencing this with the same woman. Now you really know as a man, something is wrong. I need to change something. I need to think back to what has transpired. And the reason this is speaking a man's language is because men need to do their own work in processing, oh, I made an oopsie here. My oopsie was this. I need to apologize for this. I need to do something about this. I need to change and adjust my behavior. I know it sucks. And I know you feel like you're working with a baby, but I promise you, if you want to speak a man's language, you have to be able to understand this type of contrast. how to use body language, your essence, your energy to communicate a very, very, even more intense feeling than you could ever communicate with your words. Because when men go through that process of thinking and understanding, okay, I need to make this adjustment, or I need to do this more or do this less, that is the most powerful way to interact with the men, where you can still sit back no matter whether it's this or this and receive from him. Okay? Because remember, this whole show is about receiving from him. This whole series that I'm going to be doing is about understanding how to receive from men, right? Whether you're trying to communicate something that you don't like or communicate something that you really, really love. Okay? Does that make sense? Oh, that was it. I was gonna do it. That was fast. That was fast, chat. We went through that fast. Okay. So any questions about any of the, that was, I think, 10 that we just discussed, or any of the points that we just discussed here? That was really fast. Chat, wasn't that fast today? That was fast. I went through them fast. Hold up. I skipped some of these? This was fast. Any questions that you guys have, feel free to ask them, and we can discuss. Someone says, if you have a bonus, give it to us. No, if there was a bonus, I would give it to you guys. I don't have any. I was thinking, I'm like, is there more? I was just flying through them. But I got everything out that I wanted to go. R. Bella says, is Tommy on the date versus this part just to know I'm in sync? Yeah, I'm right here. I'm right here. Class says, right actions speak louder than words, because usually men aren't even paying attention to your words, especially when you're B-wording. Excuse me. I agree. And it's not that, so here's the thing too, class and anyone else who's listening, it's not that I believe that you shouldn't communicate what you feel to men, okay? And it's not that, oh, you should never use your words or never talk about anything. It's really that when you really want to communicate something, you have to allow your body language and your energy to speak louder than even your words can. And understanding that the most intense version of your communication will be your body language and your energy. So if you can focus more on that, because here's the thing too, and I won't go too long-winded with this story, but essentially, there's been times where I have been with women, and when I'm with them and they're angry or upset at me, they're telling me they're angry or upset, but even their body language isn't communicating that they're angry or upset. Like they're almost like they're having this contrast where their body language is like, I'm not really that mad at you, but they're trying to say that they're mad at me. But then it makes me feel like you're joking, like you're not serious. And I don't know if you guys have ever had that happen to you, where you're talking to a guy and you're communicating something that actually bothers you, but you feel like he's actually not taking you serious. He thinks like you're joking or playing around. A lot of times that happens if there's a little bit of misalignment between your body language, and then even though you're speaking those words of being upset or being frustrated or being unhappy, your body language isn't clearly communicating that enough where he's feeling like, you're not that upset, you're not that mad. That's why I say that body language part is the way more powerful way to communicate with guys. They'll get it instantly. When you're silent in this car, when you're not speaking to him, when you have no explanation, trust me, he won't be confused at all that there's something wrong. Even if you were to tell him 1,000,000 times there's nothing wrong, he will still guarantee that there's something wrong. That's how clear that version of communication is, okay? Melissa says something interesting. She says, it's hard to be in your feminine as a single mother. Of course. Now, I don't want you guys to think that my advice is centered around living in an idealistic world, because that's not what I want to do. But I want you to take the things that I say and figure out how to apply it to your own life. Of course, I'm going to, even in the process of me explaining a concept and giving examples, my examples aren't necessarily always going to perfectly fit each and every one of your different situations. But the key element of this is, as the watcher, as the audience, as the consumer, you have to take parts of what I say and figure out how to adjust it, twist it, and turn it into what specifically applies to you in your life. So as it relates to being a single mother, of course, you can't be in your feminine in the sense of like, I'm just going to sit back, allow a man to protect and provide for me, and I'm not going to worry about a damn thing in the whole wide world. Of course, you have a child to take care of. Of course, you have bills to pay. Of course, you have stresses in your life that are outside of your control that have to be done. So there's a certain expectation that, or part of your life that has to be dealt with in the masculine. Now, there can be that, but you can also go about your romantic relationships in your feminine. ready to receive. You can still have parts of your life where you're in your masculine. There's nothing wrong with having a career in which you're in your masculine. There's nothing wrong with having passions in which you're in your masculine, where you're a go-getter, where you're doing what you need to do to get things done. But when it comes to your interactions with men in a romantic sense, you want to be in your feminine energy and to be ready to receive. So a lot of these things can still be applied, especially if you're making sure to do one of the important things, which is filling those voids within yourself, that you don't meet men and immediately say, I need you to take action for me, right? If you have an issue, let's say, just hypothetically, I'm not calling out the person that asked this question, but just hypothetically, if you have an issue with taking care of your child and you need a man to come into your life and help you take care of your child, before you start dating, you need to figure out your situation to help you take care of your child yourself. Or if you're going to co-parent, then co-parent, that's fine. But if you're not co-parenting, then you need to figure out, how do I find the solution to taking care of my child myself first? Then when I start dating, I'm not pressed for any man to take action towards me, because that's the only way you'll actually be in the mind state that you're ready to receive. As weird as it sounds, you might be thinking, oh, I'll be so ready to receive when I'm desperate for it. You're not actually. That's not being in your feminine energy, because the desperation that's seeping through you will force you to be masculine in the action that you take. Okay? Life Siri says, I have been silent for almost 10 years, but my spouse doesn't seem to do anything about it. He's silent too. So Life Series, I'm going to tell you something that is painful. It sucks, but some women that listen to this need to hear this. How I just talked about speaking and communicating to men is a function of a man having a desire for you. Okay? Now, this is why this is going to suck. If that man doesn't have the proper level of desire for you to be with you and to make you happy, none of this is going to work right. Because remember, his desire for you and to be with you is what causes him to say, I am going to have a happy life only if I have a happy wife. And then subsequently, when you communicate your desires, he now wants to do those things. He now wants to take actions for those things. Subsequently, in a situation like this, when you're silent, when you don't say anything, when you communicate with your body language that something's wrong, when he has a desire for you and a desire to be with you, he now says, I need to change something. I need to address this. I need to take action here. I need to make an adjustment. All of this stems from the appropriate masculine and feminine dynamic in which he has a desire for you and a desire to be with you, which causes him to take action that allows you to be in your feminine energy. I'm not going to say that, oh, your 10-year marriage is such a waste, but if you're finding yourself in a position that in 10 years, when you stay silent, your spouse says, I'm not going to say anything, I'm not doing anything either, then this isn't the right person for you, because that's not the dynamic that your relationship should be having, where you're clear, because trust me, if you held a GUN to his head, he would tell you that something's off in our relationship. He would be able to know it. So the fact that he knows something is off in the relationship, you're unhappy or this is not working, and he's choosing to stay silent means that there's something wrong with the dynamic that you guys share. I'm just not trying to diss your marriage. I'm just trying to tell you that there's something off with that. So of course, when we talk about feminine energy, we talk about receiving from men. Like I said in the first video of this series, because I'm going to do a whole series on feminine energy for you guys, we're going to cover different topics and aspects of it. But like I said in the first episode of this series, this all starts with being with a man who actually has a desire for you. And it's not about saying, hey, I listened to this and I want to go apply this to the guy that I see at work, or the guy that has never really acknowledged me or even said that he wants to be with me. I'm going to go use this on a guy that I like, who has never approached me or told me that he wants to be with me. And I'm going to hope that when I use all of these forms and strategies, that he will then in turn like me and want to be with me. You are in your masculine energy. And I think next week on Monday will be our show about selection and allowing men to select themselves, because I feel like that's one of the biggest issues that a lot of women, not a lot of women, but some of the women that are watching my show, they watch my show with the selection problem, where they're watching it and they're thinking about, how can I use this on a guy who's not thinking about me, who doesn't seem to communicate that he wants me. That's not what any of this is about. Okay, we need to get good at selection and also allowing and seeing the signs of what it means for a guy to be selecting himself. And then we use all of this stuff that we've been working on and talking about on the guys who are selecting themselves. not you going out and selecting that guy. Okay. Someone says, how to communicate in a long-term relationship after a conflict that I don't want to see him. What do you mean you don't want to see him? If you're in a long-term relationship with a guy that you don't want to see, or you mean like the conflict is a function of why you don't want to see him? You don't want to communicate, you don't want to have a conversation. Clarice says, what to respond? Let me see up here. What to respond when the man asks us, what are you looking for? What do you want? Can we tell them I want a relationship, period? Although I hate this answer, I never know what to respond. Clarice, just respond something very vague that he can't really do anything with. Oh, I just want someone who is, wanting the same thing as me, who wants to be a good partner, wants to be in a great relationship, wants to, do something long term. We invest in each other, we build each other up, we grow together. You see how I just put a bunch of words together that sound deep? It's fake deep. It doesn't really mean anything. Yeah, do exactly that. The reason I say that, you don't need to give him any real information that he's going to use against you, especially when you're first meeting the guy. Just be vague, be general. As long as you're vague and general, he'll feel like you gave him an answer, and then he'll probably move on. Or you can just ask a follow-up question to distract him from the fact you basically didn't say nothing. Okay? That's how you do that. Arbella says, so I must be independent, but I choose to let him help me sometimes. Arbella, what I mean is when I say taking action for yourself and giving him the space to take action, what I mean is you have to be independent enough to sustain yourself. That no man can come into your life and like he becomes your sole source of happiness, or you're like, oh, I wouldn't be able to be happy without you. Okay? That's where you need to be in order to properly be in your feminine energy. Because when you're in that state, a man comes into your life, you're like, I'm still investing in myself, I'm still ready to receive, but I'm still okay with being with only men who are ready to give, right? And if he decides that today he wants to give, you're good. If he decides all of a sudden he doesn't want to give anymore, he doesn't want to invest anymore, you're still good. That's the mindset and the energy and the spiritual place that you need to be properly in divine feminine. When you're stressed out or you're not properly in a place where you're able to sustain yourself, then all of a sudden you're going on a roller coaster of emotions every time a guy comes in and out of your life. Okay? Right? Life Series says, we are married for 21 years and have 3 sons. Well, then you're going to have some tough conversations. I'm not saying end your marriage, but you're going to have some tough conversations, because that should not be happening in a relationship where a man cares about you. You're going silent. And then he's just like, yeah, put my hands up. We don't need to do anything about this. There's a problem there, because you're never going to be able to come to a resolution. We're never going to be able to have the right dynamic. And it gets to a point like, what are we doing here? So I have had situations where women have watched my videos that are in relationships or they're married. And it's not that I want this to happen, but sometimes it does happen where when I talk about these things, it brings up or stirs up feelings or emotions or thoughts that you've had in the back of your mind for a while. And it's not me convincing you that it's happening. It's you knowing that it's been happening. It's just when I actually say it out loud, it confirms that that thought I was having is actually real, because you just put it into words exactly what I've been feeling for so long. So sometimes women have that happen, which is perfectly fine. It's unfortunate, but sometimes, that happens. And so see that as a message for yourself, okay? I'm just a vessel, and I'm not necessarily coming out and saying, hey, this is what you need to change, this is what you need to change here. But you need to think of the fact that if that is speaking to you, if that topic, that concept, that idea is really speaking to you, there's a reason for that. Okay? Let me see here. Oh, Melissa says, Tommy, can you do a show on dismissive avoidance, or what are you, like, what am I? What am I? I guess we could say I'm an avoidant attachment style. Yeah, I'll probably say avoidant attachment style for sure. Closer to that than, definitely not anxious. Anxious is, I'm the farthest thing away from anxious. Okay? For sure. Farthest thing away from anxious. A show on emotional unavailable guys, please. I think I have a show like that. You might have to just search it in the search bar. I think I have something along those lines. Someone says, why do guys want to be friends with their exes? I mean, think about this. Why would you not want to be friends with someone who you could still sleep with, possibly, who you're attracted to, who you could hang out with, but then not have to commit yourself to? It's a win-win-win-win-win for the men. all around, okay? All right, let's hop into our next section here. Our next section is our React section. Our React section is, oh, by the way, if you guys have any questions, more questions for me, and you want to ask me them privately, or you have like a very special situation, maybe like someone like Life Series who has, you know, clearly an in-depth situation, you might want to go down into my link in my description, click where it says private relationship advice. That place you can type out your entire question, your whole context of your situation. You send it in to me, you ask me a question, and then I respond with a voice message, basically going through your entire question and advising you what I think you should do best. Or if you want perspective, hey, what do you think he's thinking? Why do you think he did this? Why do you think he acted this way? Then I can advise you that way as well. So that link is in my description. It's just private relationship advice there. Now, we're gonna go into our React segment. Our React segment is where I react to a video that I feel like we can all learn from. I was gonna say videos that you guys send in to me. Some of these you guys haven't sent in to me, but I do feel like it's good for us to talk about it. So we're gonna discuss this video that we're going to listen to today. And hopefully we can get some tips about dating, because someone said tips for a first date. Hopefully we can get some tips on dating from this real life in the field example and story from a beautiful, beautiful content creator, okay? So while we prepare ourselves for that section of the show, I'm gonna play a little bit of a intermission video. Today's intermission video comes from Mr. Matt Boggs. Mr. Matt Boggs is gonna discuss 5 deeper things, oops, let me see here, men notice first about a woman and find very attractive. So he's gonna talk to you guys about that. While he talks to you guys about that, I'm gonna clean up and get prepared for our next segment, and then I'll join you guys back in just a couple of moments.
And to get deeper is he's noticing your authenticity. In other words, it's your alignment. And here's where alignment shines through. It's like, what is authenticity? Authenticity is, are you speaking and acting in ways that are representative of your true self? Are you speaking and acting in ways that are representative of what you really believe in your deeper values? Because that alignment has a feeling to it. That alignment, whether he agrees with one of your beliefs or one of your statements, is irrelevant. The alignment in somebody has power. Like, you can feel when you're around somebody who they're aligned. They're speaking their own truth. They're speaking in ways that reflect what they really believe. And you're attracted to that person because we're all attracted to authenticity. We're all attracted to the willingness to show who we really are. And you're also notice the energy that you feel when someone is measured in what they're saying. Right? They're trying to find out, they're kind of dancing on eggshells. They're like, is this the right thing to say? Or they're holding back in certain areas. And you may not be able to identify it with your conscious mind, but you can just feel it. And there's something in us that's repelled by that, because none of us want to be penned in. None of us want to be hemmed by the opinions and approval of others. We all want the freedom of expression. When you can just be who you are on your date, then he's going to feel that, be drawn to that. Well, how do you develop that? Well, number one is you start being that way in every interaction. You start being that way more in life in general. There's lots of practices for this, but one beautiful practice is to begin to notice what it is that you say, and in what groups do you water down or change what it is that you say because you're looking for acceptance, which is a very human thing to do. We don't judge ourselves in those moments. Just notice, ooh, am I watering down or changing anything that I'm saying because of this particular group? Or am I just being true and authentic to myself? So the practice of tuning in and saying, how do I really feel? And then the way of expressing that, still with love, care, respect for whatever group you're in, but being able to express your authenticity is a great practice. And this leads to the third thing that he feels that draws him into this relationship, which is your acceptance of him, which actually becomes way easier to accept somebody else when we fully accept ourselves. So when we accept ourselves enough to live from our authentic truth, our authentic set point, right? Then we begin to accept others more freely. And this doesn't mean that you're going to accept someone as your partner or accept or choose them to be your partner if they're not aligned, but you're going to simply accept them for who they are and either release them to go find the right partner or say, ooh, you feel like a really good aligned partner for me. And so men feel that. It's something that is a deep sense of we experience it as peace. Like, wow, I can just relax in her presence. And that relaxation in her presence feels so good because we don't have to tap dance. We don't have to. I remember a guy coming to me for advice one time, and he was saying, Matt, how do I win this woman over? And I said, well, what's the challenge? And he goes, well, she's used to dating billionaires and getting flown on private jets and like taken to private islands and so on and so forth. And I don't have that kind of money. I'm pretty well off, but I don't have that kind of money. And so I'm worried like I'm not going to measure up. And ultimately I helped this guy see, do you want to be with a woman who's attached to a certain level of status that you inherently aren't even able to provide right now? You're always going to feel like you're stretching and not enough to try to meet her expectation. What men want most is to be able to meet.
Thank you, Mr. Matt Boggs. I appreciate you lots for our intermission time. So we're going to hop right into our next segment, which is our amazing React segment. I'm going to be reacting to this video here from this amazing creator. This amazing creator's name is, let's see here. This is Morgan's Vlogs. Okay, so Morgan's gonna tell us about she's finally exposing her most insane dating story. She says men are unbelievable. So we're gonna see what Morgan has to say about her most, I guess at the time, her recent dating experience.
Currently 4:30 p.m. I am just now getting ready. I thought today I could do my makeup while simultaneously telling you one about a horrific dating story that I have been through. Something that I've been waiting for. Gold mine stories that I have been keeping shoved up my ass, just waiting to be released. And I don't know why. I was gonna say the laxative hit and they're ready to be released, but I'm not gonna say that. My name is Morgan. Please subscribe to this channel. 2, I thought I could share with you the most genius dating hack that I have ever taken part of. 3, the third burning topic was how do you get over someone? So basically this is my talk show. This is my live studio audience. I have all of my makeup stuff. We are first going in. This is the Urban Decay all-nighter face primer. The story starts back in 2016. I was working at On the Border Mexican Cantina. I would do doubles almost daily and I would be there from like 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. serving chips and salsa, talking to the suburban dads. I actually really loved it. Anyway, I'm working one day, I meet this guy. We all know that that is where things go wrong. I think for a lot
That's where things get tragic, for sure.
a lot of people, it doesn't end up like that and they end up actually dating someone and like they end
If it's the wrong guy, I'm joking. I'm making a little jokey joke. If it's the wrong guy, if it's the right guy, then it goes great.
up getting married and having kids. I have not yet experienced that. I have only gone from like the boy meets girl to like hell level destruction. So I meet this guy. Let's call him Joe. Joe's a good name. I haven't been hurt by a Joe yet. All right, we're going
Like Joe from you.
in with the MAC Studio Fix foundation. Joe and I talked here and there. Like when I was in town, I would hit him up, be like, hey, I'm in town. Sometimes we would hook up. Like we just had a little.
We've already started, okay? So we've already started on our first mistake here. Not to call this woman out, but it's the first mistake here that we wouldn't recommend in this players club. Hooking up, but also hooking up casually. Even if she didn't say hooking up, I would still say like this is very bad, a bad start. Because when you make yourself a casual person in their life, then guys treat you casually. So even if it's like, hey, we're hanging out, but there's no real purpose to us hanging out, we're just kind of vibing. That's also very bad because then you don't have a proper place in a man's life. And then a lot of times guys will treat you how they feel about you. So when you're giving him that access, even if you're not sleeping with him, to just kind of vibe around, chill out with you, then he treats everything very, very chill. But then you're not going to be happy with very chill.
I would call it a summer fling that lasted for 3 years. I had just got done working my double shift on a Friday at On the Border. And if you've ever worked at a restaurant, you know, like, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, prepare to get your absolute shit rocked. You are gonna go home with chips in your hair, refried beans within your fingernails. I had queso like dripping down my titties half the time. When you get home, I would look at myself in the mirror and be like, oh my, whoa. I'm laying in bed like, I don't think I can ever move again. And then you hear the little noise that's like, ding. And you try to keep your eyes closed. You're like, you know what? It can probably wait. Another one. My eyes crust open. I have chips in my hair. I am a mess. And I see a text from Joe. And he's like, hey, do you want to come to this party tonight? I'm thinking about the logistics of this. I'm like, okay, can you send me an address? He sends me an address. It is an hour away. And I say, okay.
This is very bad. This is very, very bad. Okay. We have multiple quadruple whammies happening here. Okay. One, we're never doing the hang out with the guy same day vibe. Okay. That does not communicate what you wanted to communicate. There really is there's no like situation in which you should be hanging out with a guy. If you want this guy to take you seriously, you want him to romantically want to date you and be with you. You want that. There should be no reason why you're hanging out with him the same day that he asks you. There's just no reason. Okay. If that's the vibe of your relationship where you want it to end up, do not do that. That's number one. And number two, you got to take care of yourself. You know, like she just described, and that's something I think we should talk about more on the show as well. Like, I just talked about investment in yourself is the number one thing that makes you more desirable to men. So that's part of like when you have the feeling of like, oh, I need to prove something to this guy or like this guy's running away from me. If this guy doesn't want to be with me, then nobody's going to want to be with me. Or this is the only guy on earth. That mindset, that thought process is what will push you to sacrifice your own mental health, your own like well-being, your own sleep, just to go and do what? Hang out with the guy who like doesn't even know your last. He probably doesn't even know her last name. No offense to her, right? But he probably doesn't even know her last name. If he does, he doesn't care, right? Because he's not focusing on being with her. So it's like, why are you getting up out of your bed, chip salsa in your hair, tired as hell, when you should be getting sleep for yourself, right? Or at least doing something that benefits you, not, come on, we know she's about to drive an hour away. Come on. Oh.
No. 10 minutes later, I'm back with my eyes closed and I get another ta-dum. Joe says, I really want you to come. I Olympic speed sprinted myself to the bathroom, full body shave, full hair wash, full blowout, full face and makeup, full outfit within.
No way. No way. She took an everything shower. Oh my God, chat, you thought I didn't know about those. She took an everything shower before the party same day. Oh my God. At least you're supposed to take an everything shower the night before. You took an everything shower same night. Rushing out. Oh my God. The shave, the everything. Oh wow. This is it. I didn't know she was going to do that. Wow.
Speed sprinted myself to the bathroom, full body shave, full hair wash, full blowout, full face and makeup, full outfit within 20 minutes. I was sweating. So I'm texting Joe the whole time like, hey, it's already pretty late. Like, are you sure when I get there in an
That's insane. That's insane.
hour, emphasis, it's gonna take me an hour to get there. You're still like gonna be down to like hang out.
Okay, so I don't want to keep pausing so much, but I just want to say, like, as a guy, let's say I was that guy and she came to me and she told me, when you texted me, I took an everything shower in 20 minutes, shaved, did everything I could possibly do to get here. I would actually be very unattracted to that girl after telling me that. Like, she wouldn't tell me that and I'd be like, oh my God, that's so amazing. That's so awesome. I'd be like, you did all that just to be at this stupid party because I invited you. It's not that serious. And the fact that you did all that just to pop up here, like, I'm not going to say that I won't, if you're that desperate, sure, I'll sleep with you. But like, that's not the type of vibe that I would want a wife. For sure not. So that's not impressive.
And he's like, oh my God, yeah, I will be waiting for you. Let me know when you're outside. I cannot wait to see you. I bet you look beautiful tonight. Like blah, 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 blah. So I get in my car. My car has no gas. I speed rocket to a 7-Eleven in the middle of the night. Well, it's like 10:30. I get out of my car. The scariest looking dudes I have ever seen in my life come up to me and they're like, hey, where are you going tonight? And I said, oh, I'm going to my friend's house to hang out. And they said, oh, We want to come too. I have a long drive ahead of me. Nice talking to you. This guy at the gas station comes up to me. He is smoking a cigarette, blows the smoke in my face, and says, I really want to hang out with you tonight. I said, oh my God, I am not a bad bitch like that. I am not going to be throwing punches at a guy at 7-Eleven at 10:30 at night. I'm just not. I was dearly afraid for my life. I was the only person getting gas. Where was their car? I don't know. Why were they at the gas station? I don't know. The guy that works in the gas station comes out. He like brings me in the gas station and he's like, those guys come every night and they are trying to pick up girls every night and their approach needs to be a little better because guess what? No girl ever goes home with them. Can't imagine why. Anyway, I'm driving. Oh my God, I'm gonna see Joe. Like I'm so nervous. I pull up to Joe's house.
Oh, so I paused it at the perfect time. I was just going to say this is already bad that she pulled up to the party that is an hour away from her, but I'm sure is very close to the guy she's talking to. So very convenient for him. She showed up like DoorDash to the party. But actually, it's worse. She didn't just show up like DoorDash to the party. She showed up like DoorDash to his house because that man didn't even have to move a muscle. And she just showed... Imagine that. Like, you know, chat, like, I'm not saying this stuff to make fun of her. I'm just saying, like, really think about it. Because when you're her, you're not thinking about it from this perspective. You're just thinking about how much you like the guy. But really think about what's happening here. That guy, he probably didn't shave. Didn't shave up here. It didn't shave down there. He probably hasn't gotten a haircut in 4 weeks. He probably didn't even put deodorant on. He's probably wearing 2 different color socks. And he's probably wearing underwear that he hasn't washed in a couple of months. You show up at this guy's house after taking an everything shower. You shaved your body. You shaved down below. You shaved up top. You did your hair. You did your makeup as good as you could possibly do it. You got ready and you were looking absolutely stunning. You show up at his place at his front door. And he probably just woke up from a nap to get ready to go to the party. And you're there clean and pristine for him. For what? For what? He has not invested or communicated to you that he is at all taking any of this seriously. Why are you at his door, clean as a baby's bottom?
An hour later, it is now 11:30 p.m. Keep in mind, I was sending updates along the way because he'd be like, how far away are you? How far away are you? I'm like, 45 minutes, 30 minutes, 15 minutes. I get there, I say, hey, I'm here. Teehee. Effortlessly, I just arrived here. Hi, ready to have a good time. Like, who wants to play cup pong? He doesn't answer. So I text him again. I'm really here. Like, I'm physically here. Doesn't answer. I called him. No one answers. I'm like, okay, maybe he doesn't have his phone. I'll wait for 5 minutes. I am sitting out there. Keep in mind, it is December in Colorado. It is freezing. I waited my ass there for 30 minutes. Around midnight, I'm like, all right, I really have to pee. Bad. Aggressively, my legs are shaking. My stomach feels like it's gonna fall out of my body. I looked up the nearest gas station, and to my surprise, most gas stations in Colorado.
Oh my God, this is like giving me a migraine. This is why I say, do not try to cast a spell on men who do not select themselves. Might be a damn near poem that we're going to have to write. Do not try to look for the man. I want this man, so I'm going to do everything in my power to make this man like me. It does not work like that. It does not work like that. It does not work like that. Let men select themselves. This would never, ever, ever happen. Excuse me, I'm spitting all over the place. This would never happen with a man who selected himself and said, I want to be with you. Okay. And I want to be with you isn't just him getting your number when you're at work. Okay. That isn't just saying, oh yeah, let's hang out when I'm free or whatever. Right. That's him saying, no. I don't just want to be with you, like hang out with you. Like, I want to take this seriously. I want to date you. I want to take you out. I want to show you that like I'm the man for you. You drove an hour and you're waiting 30 minutes in the car. He's not even answering you. He's probably talking to some other girl at the party.
Close around midnight. And it is now midnight 30 because I've been waiting an hour for Joe to let me into his friend's sketchy house. I desperately am going to piss myself. I have to make the executive decision that I need to get out of the car in a random park and go piss in a tree by myself. It is snowing outside. It is midnight 30. Then, after I physically...
So we're in so deep and we're so last minute with it that she couldn't even get a girlfriend to come with her for her safety or for her well-being. Like, I get it. She's just sharing her story. So obviously it's embarrassing, but like she's sharing her story. So I appreciate that and applaud that. But this is very, very bad. Very, 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 very bad.
Pissed in a public park. My dignity is already gone. It is time for me to go home. Get home an hour later. I don't even think I was furious. I think I was just in disbelief of the series of events of like me laying in my bed with chips in my hair to going to a full body shave to almost getting killed at the gas station to driving Joe's house for him to...
She never even saw him. She drove an hour there and an hour back. He never even responded.
Not then open the door. I was just in disbelief. I had no other emotion than disbelief. So it is the next day, 5 p.m. 5 p.m. He texts me and says, oh.
Wait, what do you think his excuse is? What do you think his excuse is going to be? My phone was dead. I was busy. Oh, I got too drunk. I was too high. Which one? Which one is it going to be?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I fell asleep.
Didn't I just say earlier? I was like, I said, when he answers the door, he probably just woke up from a nap. What did I just say earlier? I didn't watch this beforehand. What did I just say earlier? He ain't bothering getting ready. He's wearing the same underwear that he's been wearing for months. He's wearing 2 different colored socks, not shaven, no haircut. He's just rolling out of bed and going straight to the party.
I said, this is it for me. They always come back. It has been like a few months since I've talked to Joe. I am going.
That's not coming back though. He was never there. No offense. I'm not trying to, be mean to you, but that's not him ever being there in the first place. So that's not how that works.
To Vegas for my birthday. I get a text on my birthday from Joe. Hey, miss you a lot. I want to be friends again. I said, okay. Oh God, Jesus Christ. Here's the thing, I forgive all over time. I don't know if this is a form of self-destruction, but I just like to forgive and forget. Emphasis on forget. So Joe and I start talking.
There's nothing particularly wrong with forgiving people, but you should have self-respect enough to say, I'm not going to put myself in that situation again. Or when someone disrespects me on that level, it's just done for them. Like there's no coming back for that. It's okay to move on from people. You're still a good person if you move on from people that disrespect you.
Talking again, like, oh my gosh, I forgot about all of the good qualities of Joe. He has some great qualities. Into him again, we're FaceTiming nearly every night. Like we are keeping constant communication. I'm going to be back in your town this weekend. Maybe we should get together. And he says, great, 100%. I would love to see you Friday night. Meet me.
Oh my God. When she said that, I originally thought she was talking about him saying, I'm going to be in your town. And I know some of you may have missed that. She told him, I'm going to be in your town. Man, I'm woman. I'm going to be in your town. I would love to see you. You can't make this up. You really can't.
I'm going to be back in your town this weekend. Maybe we should get together. And he says, great, 100%. I would love to see you Friday night. Meet me here. Downtown, meet me here. This is not my first rodeo. Especially with Joe, this is not my first rodeo. So I am not going to meet you downtown. I'm going to go downtown with my own group of friends. We can meet in the middle. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe Joe has grown into a nice, respectable, beautiful man. Lord have mercy, that never happened. I bought a whole outfit. I bought some new mascara. I was rocking and ready to go. I am really excited, okay? Maybe more excited than I should have been. Like, oh my God, this is so scandalous. Like I'm meeting up with Joe. Anyway.
This is very sad. This is very sad because you like, let's really think about what she's saying. Like, she's excited to meet up with a guy at a club that she invited him to. There's no self-respect in that. Like, you're excited to see a guy who doesn't really even shown you that he even cares or likes you seriously at all. He hasn't done anything. He's just sitting back, relaxing. You're doing all the inviting. You're doing all the planning, all the organizing, right? You're saying we'll meet halfway there, but he probably only show up if it's convenient for him.
I just went in with Tarte Shape Tape. This is how you keep all of your secrets to yourself. Goof-proof eyebrow pencil. I'm Ubering downtown because I am fully ready to get unbelievably shit-faced. That was my intention. I'm sorry to admit it. Sorry, Mom. So I get in with my new little outfit into the Uber. I'm so...
Let's rehash the goals here. So our goal here, number one, to see Joe at a club so we can get some attention from Joe somehow. And number two, get poop-faced, as she just said. So, okay. Because, I'm saying this not to make fun of her, but I'm saying this sometimes, when you're in it, you don't realize how your logic doesn't make sense. So that's why I want us to pull ourselves out of it so we can have a good discussion about it. So we've established that we're seeing a guy who doesn't care about us, who doesn't want to be in a relationship with us, but we want him to take us seriously. That's the desired outcome, as we like to say in the Players Club. So our desired outcome is for this guy to take us seriously. Simultaneously, as we're going out and we're getting ourselves prepared to see him, we're going to see him in a state where we're absolutely destroyed, right? We're piss drunk. So let's even say hypothetically, Joe, the guy that I want to take me seriously, does come to this club. Now we're together and I am drunk out of my mind. I'm obnoxious. I'm falling all over the place. I'm slurring my words. I'm talking crazy. I look crazy. My hair's all over the place. My makeup's done. I got stains on my shirt. And the guy that I want to take me seriously is experiencing me for the first, proper, real in-person experience. He's experiencing the piss drunk, poop-faced version of me. So now the guy that already hasn't been taking me seriously is going to meet me properly for the first time when I'm absolutely destroyed. And that's the same guy that I want to take me seriously for a romantic relationship. Do you see how the self-sabotaging nature of this entire encounter and situation? This is why I want you to start recognizing if you may be in that stage with the guy.
Excited. I'm texting my friends, hey, I'm on the way. Where I live to the city is 35 minutes. So I have a long drive. I was getting a little bored. Something inclined me to go onto Facebook.com. So Facebook is not my forerunner in the apps. I have to go digging through folders to try to find it. I open Facebook and the first thing I see, Joe is in a relationship with Sarah. I said, wait a second. It must be a glitch. I deleted the app and reinstalled it because I was like, something must not be right. I get back on. Sure as can be, Joe is in a relationship with Sally Bob. I look at the date. Joe has been in a relationship with Sally Bob from Kentucky since beginning of August. And it...
First of all, how old is Joe? Who still updates their Facebook relationship status? Sorry, maybe I'm too Gen Z or something like that. I don't know. Is that what people are still doing? Are people still updating their if you're married, I get it. But do people still do that are young adults? Is that a thing? I don't do that. None of my friends be doing that.
Is mid to late September. I have gone from really excited to...
If it's on Facebook, they've definitely been dating for way longer than that. Because you got to get to a certain point of dating before you put it on Facebook.
Really unwell, really fast. Little toxicity meter in my brain just went high. I text him a screenshot of his Facebook relation status and I say, go hang out with your girlfriend. Send. Read receipts on. So I go downtown with my friends. Honestly, I'm having a fantastic time. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. You cannot reach me. You cannot find me. Once I went to the bathroom, I was talking to these girls and I was like, oh my God, let me get your Instagram, blah, 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 blah. I go onto my phone, take Do Not Disturb off. There is about 150 text messages from Joe being like, where the f are you? And think I was being petty because I'm not the one that lied about being in a committed relationship.
So at this point, what should be happening, right, is you see those messages, you see those texts, those calls. You don't let the fact that he's giving you a lot of attention at this point affect your mental state. And you say, despite the fact that it feels good for the guy who hasn't been giving me attention to finally give me some attention, I'm still going to recognize that if he's in a relationship, this isn't the guy for me, and I shouldn't be talking to him in the first place. So you either ignore those messages and go back to enjoying your night, or you just flat out block him. That's what should be happening and transpiring at this point. But let's see what ends up transpiring.
For the past 6 weeks. After I fill in my eyebrows, I just like to gently brush them out. 24-hour brow setter. Around 2 a.m. I believe is when they start closing the bars down. Now, times were different back then. You could be on your absolute worst behavior back in the day. Final call, last drink, get the f out. I turn around and Joe has come to find me. Where's Waldo? You found me. So I look at my friends, I'm like, hey, you guys can leave. Leave, go home, have a good rest of your night. I'm gonna sit on this bench outside with Joe and we're gonna talk about this. 2 a.m. is when the crazies come out.
Oh my God. First of all, I don't like that her friends even left her alone with the guy, because that's irresponsible of them, especially if she just finished explaining like, hey, this guy has a girlfriend, da 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 da. It's like, bro, let you guys have your conversation and then we're all gonna leave together. Like, that's also like, I would put some of the onus on her friends to be like, yo, like, as a girl, when you're riding with your girl, you gotta be girl enough for your girl to say, nah, we ain't doing that. We ain't rocking like that. Like, I'll let you have your conversation, but after about 30 minutes, you have your conversation, you don't need to talk in circles, then we all go home together. You gotta, at some point as a friend too, you can't let your friend be so boy obsessed that she sacrifices her health, her safety, and her happiness, like, because that's ridiculous as well. Because you can't just leave her there to have a chat with the random guy do we know if he's drunk? Where did he come from? Does he even have a car? Where is he gonna take her after? Just because they have a conversation, that is just, it's silliness. That's silliness.
We all know that. Mom has told you once and I am telling you again, be home before 2 a.m. Just be home. You're both like scream sobbing at each other. You did this, you're dating this girl. And he was like, well, you moved. And I said, okay, what? Like, I've never been in such a mess in my life than when I was sitting on a park bench at 3 a.m. downtown Denver, nearly blackout drunk in the snow, scream crying with this guy who has been dating this girl for—
Oh, it's still cold. We're in Denver, Colorado. It's still cold. I'm even thinking we're fast forwarding to a warmer months. So you're sitting on park bench and there's snow everywhere. You just said you bought a new outfit. Let's be honest, you went to the club, so you're probably wearing something that shows a little bit of skin. Let's just be so for real, okay? No offense. And so you're wearing something that's showing skin and you're outside in Denver, Colorado, cold, having a conversation with a man with a girlfriend.
the past month and didn't want to mention it to me at all. Then, as it always does, it went from scream mess to emotional mess, where we are both confessing our love for each other, and he's basically saying like, I'm going to break up with my girlfriend for you. Ladies, if a man ever says that, one, don't fuck with a guy with a girlfriend. If a guy has a girlfriend, you are not in their DMs.
Here's another one too that guys will say, and I get this. So some girls like to laugh when girls say this. Oh, he's gonna go. Hi, you're stupid. You're dumb for staying with that guy. But then they turn around and then they get with the guy who's married, and the married man will say, oh, I'm about to divorce my wife. My relationship with my wife is horrible, and we're getting divorced soon. Like, it's already happening. It's already in the works. That's the exact same thing. That's the equivalent of that. Okay, they never end up getting divorced, just like he's never gonna actually break up with his girlfriend. The other one that's just like this, that's not girl, is, oh, I'm going to delete all my dating apps for you. That's another one of those lies. That doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything.
Ever. I don't care if you think you're soulmates. I don't think you care if he's dating the wrong girl. If he has a public girlfriend that he is expressing to the world, this is my girlfriend, he is off limits. That is what I've now learned. Now, granted, that has always been my philosophy, but I didn't know he had a girlfriend. So there was a little teensy bit.
So how can you say that was your philosophy, but you're out in the Denver, Colorado cold in your brand new outfit showing skin and you're having a conversation with him? Because really, once you know that he actually has a girlfriend, maybe he was going to tell you that was a mistake on his relationship status. But once he confirms he actually has a girlfriend, what more conversation is there to have if that's your philosophy then?
Bit of a miscommunication there. Me now would judge myself heavily. Me at the time was naive and quite honestly stupid. I get all flustered and I'm like,
fair.
You're going to break up with your girlfriend for me? Like, that is so romantic. Romantic. Like, oh, romance. Stupid. I'm not stupid, but that was a stupid moment. After a very long emotional night on the literal street corner, not only were there men trying to sell me drugs, there were men thinking that I was there to sell them drugs. I was like, listen, Joe, I'm trying to sleep tonight. This is the Naked 3 palette. I love this color. It's called Limit. I wake up the next morning after a chaotic night. I am trying to collect the pieces. I'm like, okay, let me see.
I'm actually surprised. I thought she was going to say I went over to his place afterwards. So the fact that she even made it home afterward, that is how did she even make it home?
Did we post anything on Instagram? I go and I check on Instagram. I was blocked. I was blocked from Instagram. I was blocked from Facebook. I was blocked from Venmo. I was blocked from the phone number. I even tried to email this bitch and I was blocked.
So I told Dad you're not gonna answer.
Gosh, sorry. I keep getting phone calls from my parents. I'm flying to Colorado tomorrow, so I'm correlating. Ooh, I'm so excited. Oh, where did I leave off? Oh yeah, me being blocked. This guy just told me that he was in love with me, ready to basically break up with his girlfriend, send it to Vegas, go to the altar. He didn't say that, I made that up, but he did say that he was like madly in love and blah, 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 blah. This is also why I have a weird trauma bond with Panda Express, because the first thing that I did was I went to Panda Express, got a double orange chicken with chow mein, and I said, this is the lowest moment of my life. This is the lowest moment of my life. Now how it's kind of a big deal. The first.
This is actually insane. This is actually insane. I don't even know what to say. Let's just go on.
Time you post your significant other on your Instagram feed, because that makes it very official, very exclusive. Like, we are dating. This is my girl. This is my guy. Everyone knows. So I go on my fake account. I'm lurking through this God forbidden app that causes people nothing but pain.
I can't believe this.
And I go to his profile, and it is a photo of him and his girlfriend. And he says, "Love you, babe." Men are despicable. I, more than anything, feel so incredibly awful for this other girl, because I'm like, your boyfriend, one, sucks. I get it, I get the charm, I get the appeal, I've been there too. You made it further than I did. You must be a champion. Little did she know her boyfriend was up to some tomfoolery in the alley, telling some other girl that he was in love with her. Like, imagine.
So here's one thing that I don't like about this, okay? I don't like when people do this, because you know, and no offense to her, but I don't like what she just did there, because a function of what you just said doesn't really make sense, because when that guy was talking about leaving his girlfriend to be with you, you were all ecstatic and hyped to be the girl that was chosen. So, you know, hey, I get it. I get what you're trying to say, but I feel like you're a little bit, you're taking a poop on the girl who he's with and saying, oh, if she knew what was going on behind her back, he was talking to me and saying this to me, but you were hyped to be chosen too. So don't try to poop on her for being with the guy when you were happy to be with the guy and you were happy to be in her position not too long ago. I don't like that type of vibe. You know what I mean? Call a spade a spade. You know, we all take L's. It's like, hey, I wanted him. you know, he rejected me. It is what it is. Not everyone's going to want everyone. That's, you know, it is what it is. We all take L's. But I don't like how she's trying to make it like, oh, she's with that guy. Like, you wouldn't want to be with that guy. You look like a dummy. But it's like, you just wanted to be with him. That's the only thing where it's like, that's weird, you know?
Imagine. And that is the day that I realized men are despicable, despicable creatures. Not all of them, but a lot of them. It was really that moment for me that I decided I will never set myself up to be like too dependent on a man because yikes. Now I take the darkest shade. This is the brush that comes with it.
I mean, I agree with that, but your dependency had nothing to do with anything except for your desire to be wanted by him. It wasn't like you needed him for anything. He wasn't doing anything for you.
Not a fancy bitch. Dab it in here, winged liner. A few months pass. I am living in LA at this point and I get called to jury duty in Aurora, Colorado. So I call them, I'm like, hey, I actually live in LA. And they're like, hey, that sucks. You still gotta be here. You know, when you start dating someone, you are doing like a deep, deep analysis on them. Everything that you could find about them that is possibly on the face of the interweb, you are going to know about them. He like talked about his other girlfriends before, whatever. She was a beautiful, beautiful girl, had like a very unique name also. Some people that have...
Why did she say, okay, so maybe, did I lose track of what she started this video saying? Why did she just talk about their relationship as if they actually were in a romantic relationship? Did I miss something at the very beginning where they were actually in a romantic? Because she's like, when you're dating someone, you go through what? Am I missing something here, chat?
He like talks about them that is possibly on deep analysis here. You know, when you start dating someone, you are doing like a deep, deep analysis on them.
When were they ever dating? I don't even did I miss something very, very pivotal to this story? When were they actually dating? That I do not describe as dating.
Everything that you could find about them that is possibly on the face of the interweb, you are going to know about them. He like talked about his other girlfriends before, whatever. She was a beautiful, beautiful girl, had like a very unique name also. Some people that have simple names, like I have a simple name. So if you walked into a room and someone was like, oh, Morgan Adams, there could be 12 billion of us. But then there's some people that have unique names where there's only one of them. She's like one of those one of a kinds where like she is the only person with her name. That is so powerful. Why my parents couldn't have given me like a level up name, I don't know. I got stuck with a basic name. Say this girl's name is Tangerine Guava. I show up to jury duty. I go into this big room full of people and they're like, okay, we're gonna call everyone alphabetically. We get about 150 names in. They say Tangerine Guava. I had no other option than to full body thrust and look at this girl that I have done like intensive FBI research on. My jaw hit the floor. I was like, there is no way that this is real right now. There is no way that this is real right now. So then they split you up into little subgroups. Me and this girl get split up into the same group. And I think it's very apparent that I know her and she knows me. So we sit next to each other. My heart is pounding. I am like in my deepest, darkest fiction brain. I could not have thought of something like this happening. We get to chatting, we chat and chat. Then we address the elephant in the room, that we have both dated the same guy without success, might I add. We are sitting there basically trauma bonding, like, oh, he did this to you, oh, he did that to me too. Oh, I thought that was so weird. It's really crazy. A zebra never can change its stripes. First of all, this other girl that he dated is like beautiful. She's really smart. She's funny and cool. So I'm like, okay, clearly this guy at least has one thing going for him. He has good taste. I think the next subpoint was, how do you find like closure and how do you move on? That was the moment.
You don't. Okay. With people like this and situations like this, you have to, so maybe we might have to have a show about it in our feminine series here. understanding how to cut your losses is such an important part of dating and being able to like move forward in life, just even in general. Because I think women get caught up in this cycle of like, I like the guy and I feel like at some points he liked me and I feel like we had a thing going on, kind of, sort of, even though it sucks at sometimes, but I'm just not ready to let go. And feeling like you need some sort of big, this is the problem with Cinderella stories. I'm being honest, and fairy tales and The Notebook, because they make you feel like you need some sort of big gesture or big, large moment that's supposed to signify through some sort of higher power that it's either time to go or it's time to stay. And life doesn't work like that. Sometimes you have to decide for yourself, enough is enough. And it doesn't have to be some big, huge moment that signifies that. It's just you saying, I'm done looking like a goofy. I'm done getting played. I'm done getting taken advantage of. From this day forward, I will move on with my life and I will never look back. I'm done talking to this guy. I'm done messaging him. I'm done answering his messages. I'm just moving forward with my life and it's done now. Okay? It doesn't always have to be a big thing. Okay? We are not living in a fairy tale. This is your real life. Sometimes you have to put your foot down as a woman and just say, I'm done with this guy. Right? And you don't need the closure. Close the book for yourself. Okay? You're also in control of your life. You can't be thinking of your life as it's happening to you, especially as a woman, because that's not a good place to be in mentally, where you feel like men are in such deep control of your happiness and your ability to move forward or stay.
Moment for me that I found peace. Okay, clearly this guy just cannot get it together. I have now found my peace and I have found my healing. At the time when you're going through either a friendship breakup or a relationship breakup or even just like a fling breakup, it really sucks. Everything is just like out to get you. You cannot have fun. You cannot think about anything else. It feels like almost life consuming. The thought of thinking about this person, checking up on their Instagram, checking up on their Facebook, seeing what they're doing on Venmo. Need to try your absolute best to stop checking up on them. One, because the more you check up with them, it's almost like you can build a relationship with someone just by following so in-depthly what they're doing, and you like find a weird connection with that, or at least that's what I've done in the past. Find little things you're like, okay, they did this. That's your way of still feeling close to them. I am a big fan of the mute button, mute the post, mute the stories. I've learned a few times to stop unfollowing people, but
Wait, what? Why'd you throw that in? Sometimes the unfollow is good as well. But mute if you want to just like stop obsessing over seeing everything that they're doing right when they're doing it. That can be a good way to weed yourself off it. I also think if you feel like you have an Instagram or a story checking problem, Snapchat, Facebook, WhatsApp, just delete the app. Because, you know, everyone has their app. You know, I'll tell you guys on a personal level, my app that will waste my time and waste my energy and waste my mental, emotional resources is Instagram, by far. It's not Snapchat. I can literally have Snapchat on my phone. I'll put it away. I won't care about it. I won't think about it. It's not a Facebook. I never check Facebook. Come on. It's not WhatsApp. I never go on WhatsApp. I ignore messages all the time on there. It's not even my iMessages. It's none of that. It is simply just Instagram. Instagram will send me down a rabbit hole. I'll be checking it for no reason. I'll be wasting time. I'll be putting energy in things that don't matter on Instagram. I promise you. The only way I'm able to fully wean myself off of Instagram is if I delete the app off of my phone. Then I can actually have sanity and face what I need to do. Anytime Instagram is on my phone, I check it way too often. It's an addiction. But the self-awareness is what allows me to work with myself. Okay. And know if I need to focus, I need to do something, I need to accomplish something, I need to like take my life back. Immediately, Instagram gets deleted. I don't need to delete my profile or nothing. I just immediately delete the app off my phone, delete it anywhere else I could check it. Done. Facing facing my stuff, focusing now. But that part of that self-awareness will actually help you be successful in life. Just being honest with yourself. Hey, what are my biggest time wasters? Let's just be so for real right now. And how are they wasting my time? How do I limit those time wasters? Sometimes, you know, it might be checking up again and again on the same person's profile, the same person's life, always trying to see what they're up to. And you just waste so much energy on that person or that thing, right? And instead of getting done what you need to get done for yourself, and it just sends you deeper and deeper down a rabbit hole.
I wish there was like a solid piece of advice of, oh, this is how you move on. You need to find something to do other than sit and think about it. Whether that's going to a workout class, getting a pet, going for a walk around your neighborhood every day, like calling your parents, calling a friend, asking someone to go to dinner. Like, you really need to be aggressive with yourself and keeping your schedule built up so you don't feel like you are waiting for this person to reach out for you. And I think that's even healthy in like building a friendship and building a relationship, is knowing that you have your own life. It's like you can depend on your friends and your friends can be there for you and you can depend on people, but you cannot depend on someone to create your life for you. We just need to find some hobbies, people. We gotta find some hobbies. This is my
Someone even said, is WhatsApp bad? It's not that the apps are bad in themselves, and it's not any particular app. It's just simply about understanding which app is the one that will zap a lot of my time and energy. The only thing I'll say about YouTube is YouTube can also be a resource. So you can go on YouTube and you can learn things. So that's why I wouldn't say YouTube will be as much of an energy zapper, because it doesn't allow you to necessarily invest in things that are pointless as Instagram. Instagram, oh my God, you will invest in things that are so pointless. Snapchat too. You're sending people pictures that they're not nothing of value there, to be honest with you. Facebook too, there's a lot of garbage to sift through. You know, YouTube is better. I'll be honest with you. I'm trying to think of any of the other apps that people will use. I think YouTube is a resource. I don't have a problem with that one, but you should know for yourself, what do you spend the most time with? TikTok, obviously. TikTok can be such brain rot, extreme brain rot.
favorite mascara. This is Marc Jacobs. Moving on to the next subtopic, getting back into dating. All right, so for a long time, I was closed for business. Now I am back in business. So I have been dabbling around, and something that my friend and I came up with that I believe to be the most genius thing that I have ever had the pleasure of being a part of. Ladies at home, even gentlemen, we were talking about how you don't really go out to bars to meet people, so you kind of almost have to either slide into someone's DMs on Instagram or get on a dating app. Here is the concept, a joint Tinder account. My friend and I get on Tinder and we make a joint account. It is called like her name and my name. I'm not gonna expose her yet. They're the same Tinder account, so you have it logged into each of your phones. Oh, this mascara is almost out. It's kind of dry and crusty and just not giving me the full effect.
I haven't heard something so insane in a long time. I thought this video was going to end on a good note where she was going to be like, so I learned from my mistakes and I'm dating a guy that's so much better now, or my life is so much more healthier now. No. She's going to end this video by saying, I'm on Tinder, not just by myself. I'm on Tinder with my best friend, and we have a joint Tinder profile. How do I say this nicely? So, perception matters, right? When you do things, you should want to think to yourself, how are others going to perceive what I'm doing right now? Because if my intention is to be perceived a particular way, but most people are going to perceive this a different way, then there's probably going to be some misalignment there, and I will be frustrated with this misalignment. What I mean by that is, let's really go through. I want to see, in the chat, I really want you guys to answer this. When guys go on Tinder and they see two girls on a profile, right, in one profile on Tinder, what do you think the first couple things that is going to come to their mind is? I want to see in the chat what you guys think. I don't want to say it yet. I just want to see if you guys are able to step outside of yourselves and then put yourself in the perspective of men, because we talk about men so much and what they're thinking and how they respond to things. And I want you to answer for yourself. What do you think men are thinking when they go on a Tinder profile and they see two women side by side on that Tinder profile at once? What do you guys think that they're going to assume that means? What do you think their perception is going to be? Okay? I want you guys to put the answers here. I'm seeing some very interesting answers. Okay? So the reason I asked that question is because these are the things you have to be thinking through when you take a particular action. It's not about saying, oh, I care so much about what guys think of me. I care so much about what the world thinks of me. But there also is value in having self-awareness to be able to see how your actions look to others outside of what just your intention is. Because you could intend to be the nicest person ever, but if you don't come across that way to anyone else, it doesn't matter. So the same thing here, right? Like you could intend with your double Tinder profile to be fun, quirky, outgoing girls who are just different and a vibe, but you're not going to come across that way. You're going to come across as very unserious, and all the men that interact with you are going to be thinking exactly what all the smart women in the chat just said. So, and then you just become, and this is why I say it becomes self-sabotaging in nature, because then you can easily become frustrated with the interactions you're having with men, because you're like, why do all these men just want to sleep with me? Why do all these men just want to, hook up? Why do all these men not taking stuff seriously? Right? There's a portion of that that's also your own responsibility in the way that you allow yourself to be perceived by others. I shouldn't even say allow yourself, but how you put yourself out there that is then received by others.
There is nothing more I hate than having to buy new makeup. Disrespectful. The disrespect is unbelievably disrespectful. A NYX white eyeliner, and I just like to do the slightest bit in my cute photos of us together, like as a duo, because this is our duo account, and then one individual shot that shows us in our best light. This cannot be like Becky from Home Eccy that you're making your joint Tinder account with. There's nothing worse than when you go out with a friend and everyone's ready to go home, and like there's that one friend that's like, not coming home for the next 3 hours, and you guys are all like, fuck. So you have to be with someone who is on your same wavelength, that when you look at them and say, I'm ready to leave, they're like, bestie, let's go. But the magic within this, right? So there is a few points of why this is just brilliant. Very intrigued by the fact that there's two of you. Me and my friend want to hang out with you and your friend. Then it works, right? Because then you're hanging out in a group situation and it's not a one-on-one awkward date. A group of four going out for a good time, there's less pressure because you don't know which one you're gonna like, or like you're not gonna like any of them, but then you're in a group and you're with your friends so you can have fun either way. And now this is the tactic, ladies at home. You reach out to these guys and they're like, oh, let's get together tonight and like get drinks. You say, okay, we've made a reservation at this time. Meet us there. You are telling them your reservation is 30 minutes later than it actually is. So you can go there with your friend and have a drink and get mentally and physically prepared, feel like you're sitting in the chair nicely. You are ready for these two guys to show up. Don't milk it. Don't do anything. Just a simple meet us here. They show up every time. They show up every time. It is just like funny. It is so fun. So if you are looking to get back into the dating field and you're a little uncomfortable being on the apps and you can't really meet people in person, get a buddy and you are gonna get on this Tinder. You're gonna make a profile with your friend and you are gonna say, me and my friend will meet you here at this time with you and your friend. You will have the time of your life. If something bad happens, I did not recommend this at all. Just ladies, keep your standards high. Only do something if you really want to do it. You should be having fun, okay? And if you are not having fun, may we all find peace.
The show is done today. I can't do this. I was having a great, it's a great day today, and she's gonna stress me out. I don't want to be stressed out I can't do this. This is unbelievable what she just said. This is unbelievable what she just said. Let's just quickly rehash. She just advised that after making, I thought she was going to say it was a horrible mistake, I'll never do it again. She just advised that after making the double trouble Tinder profile, that you then tell two guys, we're going here, meet us there. And she's proud of the fact that it works and some guys will show up. What do you think they're showing up to do? What do you think they're showing up to do? To say, oh, wow, hey, buddy boy, hey, we're about to go to this local bar and meet up with our two potential wives. Oh, you got your ring ready, buddy? We're about to marry these girls for sure. Come on. And I'm not trying to be mean to her, right? Because she's sharing her story and she's just being honest. But like, we also have to be honest. Like, if your goal is to have guys take you seriously, well, we're actually moving in the opposite direction. That's just the reality. Like, I'm just trying to be real. And I don't want the attention that some guys will give you when they see your Double Trouble Tinder profile to make you think that your strategy is working, because then you're like trying to swim upstream, where you're having the guys approach you in a way that you don't really like, that you don't appreciate, that doesn't work for you. But then you're doing things that's literally attracting the type of men you don't want. And you're actually festering and creating the perfect environment for the men that you don't want. You're on Tinder. Not only are you on Tinder, but you're on Tinder with your friend, making yourself seem like, oh, we're a fun little duo. We come around. We're just for the fun vibes. Or even saying yourself, oh, girls just need to have fun. So that's probably in your bio. What do you think the men are thinking? Come on. Come on, man. All right, chat. That's the show for today. We'll join each other back on Monday. Don't worry, I'm always going to be here. Even if I'm late, I'll be here on Monday. We'll have another discussion about all this stuff. We're going to continue our series on feminine energy. We'll always be exploring different topics under feminine energy, but we're going to be going hard on this series so that I can get you the man that you want. I can get you the dynamic that you want, right? And I can keep you in your feminine energy, not doing stuff like this where you're chasing after men, because I've realized this is not good enough. We can't just talk about relationships. We have to talk about relationships from the standpoint of you receiving as a woman in the role that you actually want to be in, because you don't just want to be in a relationship with the guy you have to do all the work for. Okay. So we're going to be discussing that in future shows. All right, chat. Until we meet again, which will be on Monday, I bid you adieu. Arrivederci. Hasta la vista. Sayonara. Ciao. Salam. Adios. Bounty. Bon voyage. And I'll see you again on Monday. By the way, this live stream afterwards is going to be unlisted, but when you're in the Discord, just go to the Discord, okay, which is the link in down below. When you go to the Discord, you'll be able to see in the live stream section, you'll go there and you'll see the link to this live stream. You can click it and watch it that way. It just won't be available on my full YouTube profile. But if you go there, you can watch it there. Also, any previous live streams I've done, when you're in the live stream section in our Discord, just search whatever the name of the live stream is, and it'll pop up there, because it always populates all the live streams I do, even when I unlist them, okay? All right, chat, I will see you again on Monday, and I'll be posting on my main channel all throughout the weekend. Bye. See you later.